All right, let's take a look at section 3.2, converting measurements. All right, so we're going to look at some of these start of class questions, and we'll look at how to convert things into centimeters. Now, 13 inches into centimeters. How I always set it up is I write down how many centimeters are there in 13 inches. If there are 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. So this is my known proportion. This is my unknown one. And then it just is 13 times 2.54 divided by 1. And if I have a calculator, 13 times 2.54 is 33.02. So x is equal to 33.02 centimeters. All right, so let's look at number 2. Well, sorry, letter B. Now we have 5 feet 1 inch. Okay, so 5 feet 1 inch. Now I need this to be all in inches. So I can write it like this. How many inches are there in 5 feet? If there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So I'm going to do 5 times 12 divided by 1, which is equal to 60 inches. Now I'm going to add 1, so now I've got 61 inches. So plus 1 to that, and I've got 61 inches. So how many centimeters are there in 61 inches? If there are 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. 61 times 2.54. And I can just do that on my calculator right here. 61 times 2.54 is 154.94. It's equal to how many centimeters are. Right now, within the metric system, you should be able to convert in your head. Right, there's 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. So 12.3 millimeters, 123 milliliters should be 12.3 centimeters. These you should be able to do in your head from grade 5, 6, 7. You've been working on them. There's 100 centimeters in 1 meter, so 2.45 meters is 245 centimeters. All right, now we're going to convert the following into inches the same way. 7.25 feet into inches. So I ask, how many inches are there in 7.25 feet? Since it's a decimal, I can just do this as if there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So 7.25 times 12. And I'll do that on my calculator. 7.25 times 12, 87 inches. All right, in our next one, we have 54 feet 7 inches. So we're going to convert 54 feet into inches. So how many inches are there in 54 feet? If there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So you do 54 times 12, 648 inches. Then, of course, we need to add the 7 to it. So we do 648 plus 7 gives us 655 inches in total. Right, this is a multi-unit measurement. We cannot do math with that. We need to convert that. All right, now we've got some centimeters and meters. Now, I know the centimeters to inches one. So how many inches in 35 centimeters? If 1 inch has 2.54 centimeters. So it's going to be 35 times 1 divided by 2.54. So that ends up being just 35 divided by 2.54. 2.54, 13.8. 13.8 inches. Now the last one's in meters, and I don't necessarily have a meters to inches conversion, although there might be, but I can change 1.5 meters into a 150 centimeters. And then I can do the same conversion. How many inches in 150 centimeters if there are 1 inch has 2.54 centimeters. So you do 154 times 1, which is 150, divided by 2.54 is 59 inches. Right, so you should be able to set up these proportions for solving. Now, the reason I teach it this way is because come Physical Science 20, when you take Physical Science 20 in the second semester, we do this type of conversion a lot. All right, so circles. These formulas you need to know. So if you have a circle, the radius is from the edge to the middle, and all the way across is the diameter. So this is, I should just do the diameter in a different color here. In red, let's say. So there's the diameter, there's the radius. All right, we have two formulas. We have a formula for area, and we have a formula for circumference. And we're going to do a slightly difficult example. Got a circle, and we know that its diameter is 50 centimeters. So when we're doing the formula for the circumference, we can just do circumference equals pi times diameter. Remember, write out the formula, say it in your head. Then substitute in what you know. Circumference is equal to pi times 50. Now I'm going to do another step in here that you don't need to do. But when we get to pre-cal 10, we'll do this. Circumference equal to 50 times pi. I just write it this way. It's multiplication in between, so I can just rewrite it how I want. And so I can do circumference is 50 times pi. And I guess I'm going to need a calculator with a pi button. If you use the pi button or you use 3.14, you will get a correct answer. But you might get slightly different answers than somebody else. So 50 times pi is equal to 157.1. And my proper units, this is centimeters. And circumference is a length, so it's just centimeters. Now when we're doing area, we write out our formula. Area is equal to pi times the radius squared. Now we need the radius. Well, if the diameter is 50, the radius is going to be half that, 25 centimeters. So we fill in what we know. Pi times 25 squared. Now again, I'm going to do this in another step that you don't need to do. I'm going to do 25 squared. So it's 25 times 25 is equal to 625 times pi. So 25 squared is 625. Now I times it by pi, and I get 1963.5. Area is equal to 1963.5 centimeters squared. Areas are always measured in units squared. Centimeters squared, meters squared, feet squared, a yard squared, inches squared. Areas are always measured in units squared. Area is a two-dimensional measurement. It's a measurement of a two-dimensional surface. So we use squared. All right. Now, let's take a look at these basics. And sometimes we've got to do multiple calculations in order to come up with an answer. So we're going to do 12 feet, 8 inches into meters. Now, I don't like this one because it's multi-units. It's got feet and inches, and I do not want that. So I'm going to turn this into just feet. This is 12 feet and 8/12 of a foot, right? Because there's 12 inches in a foot, so 8 inches is 8 out of 12 of a foot. All right, now 8 out of 12 is what? Let's turn this into a decimal, so you can do 8 divided by 12. 0.666667. So this is 12.6 repeating 6 feet. Now I have to go from feet into meters, and I'm just pulling up my conversion tables. I see if there is one on your conversion table for feet to meters. So I'm trying to find out meters, so I put that on top. How many meters are in 12.6 repeating 6 feet if there is 0.3048 for 8 meters in 1 foot? So I'm going to do 12.66 times it by, so times it by that, divide by that. So I do 12.66 times 0.3048, 3.86 meters. X is equal to 3.8608 meters. All right, so remember, can't work with multi-unit dimensions. You need to convert them into a single unit. So 12 feet, 8 inches needs to be converted just into feet. Next thing, 4.2 kilometers into feet. Now I'm going to look here and see if I have something that goes straight from kilometers into feet. I do not. So I know kilometers, that's what I know, and I'm trying to get to feet. But I have to go through a process. Here's the process I'm going to go through. I'm going to go from kilometers into meters, and that's a metric system conversion, so we should be able to just do that without any effort. Then from meters into feet. So I start out with 4.2 kilometers. Now there is 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer, so 4.2 kilometers is going to be 4,200 meters. Now I have to go from meters into feet. So how many feet are there in 4,200 meters if 1 foot has 0.3048? So we do 4,020 times 1 divided by that. So 4,200 times 1 is just 4,200 divided by 0.0. Nope, not 0.0. 0.3048. 13,779.5. 13,779.5 feet. All right. So when it's a multi-step process, I like to make a map like this with what I'm starting with, what I'm going to go to next, then what I'm going to end up at. So you have sometimes these multiple steps. So we're going to switch. We're going to go from 4.5 furlongs into meters. Now we know how long 1 furlong is in feet. So I'm going to make my map. We're going to go from furlongs to feet to meters. So this is going to involve 2 conversions. Our first conversion is, well, we know we've got 4.5 furlongs. Our first conversion is to feet. So x feet, how many feet are there in 4.5 furlongs if there are 660 feet in 1 furlong? So that's going to be 4.5 times 660. 2,970 feet. So I'm just going to write it over here, 2,970 feet. Now I'm going to do my second conversion from feet into meters. So how many meters are there in 2,970 feet if there are 0.3048 meters in 1 foot. So I'm going to do 2,970 times 0.3048 divided by 1. Now I've got the 2,970 still in my calculator from before, so I just times it by 0.3048, 905.3. Sorry, 905.3. So we've got 905.3 meters. All right, so I should be able to give you a random conversion like this, and you should be able to use it. And you should be able to do multi-conversions by setting out a map like this and converting from one thing to the other and then one more. And they're all just these type of cross multiplication questions. That's how I'm setting them up. I expect you to get proficient at this, very proficient and fast at this, so that when we get into Physical Science 20 and we do this again, you will be good at it. All right. Thank you for watching.